Are you aspiring to ace the UPSC CSE? Commence your transformational journey with the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025. Empower your exam preparation through cutting-edge educational technology and personalized learning experiences with tech-enabled learning. Dive into concepts with animations, videos, and interactive tools designed for maximum understanding and retention. Personalized student portal. Access live classes, recorded sessions, and extensive academic resources, all at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Enroll now and step closer to accomplishing your IS dream. With the Vision IS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025, batches starting from 31st August, 5 p.m., 17th September, 9 a.m., 24th September, 1 p.m., 30th September, 5 p.m.
Yeah, good evening all. Welcome to Vision IS. It's a very important day where we are going to discuss the GS Paper-1, which was conducted recently, 2024, right? It is with respect to the geography part. After completing the modern India, then the art and culture, then society, now coming to the last part called as the geographical part. In fact, what is the trend? The trend is similar, whatever the trend that was happening right from 2019, 2020. The same trend is being followed, but there is a small change is there with this one with respect to the type of questions that are asked. Like, where the people are asking about more about the current related. Right now, what is the demand of UPSC? See the demand of UPSC. The demand right now has shifted from, earlier it was 50% core, 50% current. But right now, what happened to the demand? The demand got shifted completely to the 75% of the current and the 25% of the core. The core aspect definitely will be there. It's not like we cannot shade the core character, but what is more important is the current is included more. If at all you are reading the newspaper regularly, see the underlying statement. You need to remember this particular statement. If at all you are reading the newspaper regularly, definitely the questions, especially at least the first 3 questions that are asked, which are the 10 markers questions, they are definitely can be attained. You can guess even, you can interpret, you can catch the pulse of the UPSC. If at all you are regularly following the newspaper, there are good number of articles related to the sea surface temperature. There are good number of articles which are related to the geographical events that are happening. And even if at all you are seeing the current trend, like if at all analyzing the UPSC question papers, every year they are asking at least one question or the other question with respect to the core part, like what is the part that was asked in the last, before year it was asked about the igneous rocks. Earlier it was asked about the fjord coast. Igneous rock is a very, very general concept, but fjord coast and its picturesque beauty. At the same time, the other question that was asked was with respect to the landslides and the impacts that are happening. Right? Every time one current geophysical event was asked. In the recent past, what we have given in our test series, in all the test series, we talked about all these events, including the one that was asked in the what is called as UPSC 2024 Mains. The concept is the cloudburst. Even that was a question, but focus was mainly over the heat waves, because what happened in the year 2024? The heat wave was so strong in the Great Northern Plains, and in just one state called as Odisha, within a span of almost all 1 week, more than 25 deaths were there. See, this is the tragic incident that happened. When such incidents happens, definitely UPSC will be paying attention on, and so we focus more on what is called as the heat waves along with the earthquakes. Why earthquakes? Why we focus more on the earthquake in our test series? Because recently the Turkey earthquake was there, though it is a year back. But what is the other development that happened in our India? The government of India has established number of seismographic instruments, where they're called as seismographs. Seismographs are being established along the coast of Maharashtra. Why along the coast of Maharashtra? In order to calculate the seismic events that are happening. What happened recently? There was the Palghar incident. What was the Palghar incident? Where there is no major shock, but a series of minor shocks were there. Within a short duration of time, so many minor shocks are there, where the concept is called as the earthquake swarms. Because in order to identify that particular earthquake phenomena, the government of India has established so many seismograph instruments along the coast of the western India. These are the developments. When such developments are there, probability will be there for the questions in the UPSC. On the same lines, we also predicted, because of intense rainfall that are happening, especially 20, 21, 22, the triple dip of La Nina. Also, the event, what is happening right now in the year 2024, because of excess of heating of the ocean, nothing but the ocean part called as the Arabian Sea, excess of heating of the Arabian Sea, where the temperatures are above normal this year. Because of excess of heating of the Arabian Sea surface water, there were a good number of rainfall. It is not because of the incident like positive IOD or maybe the La Nina incident in the year 2024. It is a general normal condition. The neutral conditions are there with respect to ENSO in the Pacific Ocean. The neutral conditions are there with respect to the IOD in the Indian Ocean. But because of this particular temperature rise in the sea surface water in the Arabian Sea region, what happened? We have witnessed plus 5% of more rainfall than that of the average rainfall. These are the major events that are happening. And so, because of such events, the questions, see the questions. One is the cloudburst, sea surface temperature, and the cyclonic event. And what was the other major event that happened in the recent part, which has attracted the attention of almost every geographer and the climatologist? It was the cyclone Freddy. What was this cyclone Freddy? The cyclone Freddy was the ever longest, means what? We can put like this one. It was normally the general duration of the tropical cyclone is hardly 1 week to 10 days, but this was the cyclone which happened recently in the southern hemisphere, which has crisscrossed the Indian Ocean, and it stayed for more than 1 month. How comes the heat energy is being supplied into the cyclonic system for more than 1 month? How many days it stayed? Do you know this one? The longest durable, the tropical cyclone, it stayed for 37 days, which is a world record right now. Till now, in the history of the mankind, no such tropical cyclone was recorded which was almost all for more than 1 month. But this particular cyclone stayed for 37 days. It was never witnessed in the humanity, in the history of humanity, that such type of events are happening. And so, sea surface temperature, tropical cyclone. And what is the intensity that was recorded in the Freddy cyclone? The Freddy, Freddy, Freddy cyclone, where the rapid intensification happened, not one time. Rapid intensification happened 4 times. Thus, cyclone started intensifying 4 times, meaning what? It was having a landfall near the Madagascar, again entered into the water, but again got intensified. when such unique phenomena are happening. Alternatively, what was happening even in the Atlantic Ocean, just not in our Indian Ocean, and not just in the related part of the Indian Ocean in the southern hemisphere. Alternatively, you can find greater events that are happening even in the southern hemisphere, in the Atlantic Ocean, also in the Pacific Ocean, the greater events are happening. What happened recently in the Atlantic Ocean, there were such as hurricanes that happened there, which are nothing but the counterpart of the tropical cyclones. In the Caribbean Sea region, the hurricanes are of greater intensity. See, all these are the extreme weather conditions that are happening because of anthropogenically developed global warming character. This anthropogenic global warming character has induced the climate change. According to the statistics, see the statistics. According to the statistic, if at all I am giving some statistics like what was the sea surface temperature change that happened, what was the sea surface temperature that happened over the continent. See this one, what was the temperature changes. Instead of directly going to the sea surface temperature, let me give both the temperature changes right from 1800 till 2020s. If at all you are calculating the temperature changes in this time period, on the continents, the temperature change was 1.44 degrees centigrade. What was the temperature during 1800 over the continent, the average temperature? Now, what is the temperature change? It is 1.44 degrees centigrade. What is the temperature change over the oceans? When the temperature was rising to 1.44 over the continents during this time period, what was the change in the temperature over the ocean? It was 0.86 degrees centigrade. An increase of 0.8 degrees centigrade of the ocean temperature. Just imagine, we feel like the 0.8 degrees centigrade is negligible, but wow, what is there over the earth's surface? 3/4 of the land surface is covered by the water body. When an entire water body is there, such a huge water body, in fact, the temperatures are required more to induce the temperatures in the water body. Nothing but the specific heat of the water body is very high. When the change is there, almost all 1 degree centigrade, meaning what, it is heading nearing to 1 degree. Right now it is 0.86 degrees centigrade. When such a change is there, it itself is showing greater impacts all over the world. A very great impact all over the world. When such unusual conditions are there, then definitely all the world countries are paying attention. When all the world countries are paying attention to in order to bring the conditions in the neutral form, therefore, that is the current development. Whenever it is discussed on a greater scale by all the people, definitely the questions can be there on this one, right? See the general trend. What was the general trend? The trend was almost all 8 questions every year. That was there right from 2020. Every year there were 8 questions in the geography. But this year, whenever we are seeing some of the human geographical concepts, when some of the questions are distributed, shared with the society also. And so we are going to discuss 7 questions right now here in this one, right? This is about the overall picture of the trend that has happened in the year 2024 with respect to GS Paper 1 Geography, right? Now, let us see the one. Let us see the first question. What was the first question? The very first question is the current related aspect. See this one. What is sea surface temperature rise? How does it affect the formation of the tropical cyclones? What you need to give the answer. The moment once you read the question, you need to have a very clear-cut understanding in the mind, like what is the key term? Identify the key terms in the question. First of all, your focus should be on the key terms. What is the key term here? Sea surface temperature. The other one is the formation of tropical cyclones. You need to interconnect these two. How to interconnect these two? First of all, in the introduction, define what is sea surface temperature, define what is tropical cyclone. When the tropical cyclones take birth, what is this tropical cyclone and how the sea surface temperature is defined. First of all, in the introduction, you need to define both the terms. The moment once you are defining both the terms, then in the body where you need to talk about the connectivity, what is the interlinking between the sea surface temperature and the tropical cyclones. And in the body itself, we need to explain what is called as what is the current trend, what is happening right now, how the changes of temperature, just like whatever the data I have given right now. Always the statements, whatever the statements you are writing in the paper, that needs to be supported with the specific data. And for this one, before the exam itself, what you need to do, you need to have good ready-made data with you, or very important ready-made analysis with you on a broad context. See, we cannot expect this same question can be there in the exam, right? But on a broad context, like what is the broad context? Climate change, global warming. What is the impact of the global warming? Sea water temperature rises, right? The rising of the sea level happens. And for these things, for these general trends, the broader data should be given, like maybe the data which is published by the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or maybe UNFCCC, UNFCCC, right? Whatever the data that is published by these international organizations, these data should be handy with you, because definitely one question, another question will be there in the UPSC exam, maybe in the essay, maybe in the geography, maybe in the ecology, wherever the concept which is related to the climate, definitely the data will be useful. Therefore, you should be ready with all the data. Just like whatever the data I have provided just now, if you can produce the data in the introduction itself, then your answer is going to be a beautiful answer, and the introduction will be very good, right? Need to give the definitions. Point number 1, in the very beginning, provide the definition. If possible, means what if possible? If it is chance is there, scope is there, then give the data there itself. Like for this question, definitely you need to supplement the data there, right? This is the mode of introducing the answer. First of all, identify the key terms, define the key terms, and supply the data, right? With this, your answer should be like this somewhere. It should be something like this one. Sea surface temperature, what is the reference? It is the temperature that is there in the above few meters of depth. For about the few meters of depth, whatever the temperature is there. Earlier, it was calculated as for the depth of up to 5 meters, it's called the temperature that is prevalent over the ocean body is called as the sea surface temperature. But according to the National Ocean Atmospheric Administration, recently what they said that for the better understanding and for better predicting of the phenomena that are happening all over the globe, we need to calculate the sea surface temperature up to the depth of 20 meters. This is what the changed scenario, because they want to have a perfect predictions. For that, they have shifted the depth, not just up to 5 meters of depth, they have gone up to 20 meters of depth. Whenever the temperature is calculated around some 20 meters, the first 20 meters of depth, what it is called as the sea surface temperature. That very sea surface temperature, since the oceans are occupying 3/4 of the world, when along the entire oceanic body, when the temperatures are more than above the average one, they will be impacting the entire weather patterns all over the globe, right? That should be your body. Whatever the impacts of this sea surface temperature rise over the conditions of over the world countries in the form of the cyclones, that should be forming the body. Has global, see again data is given right from 19, now these people are talking about 1982 2023, means what, in a span of a few decades I have given the change that has happened right from 1800, meaning what, over the centuries. Now it is 0.6, meaning what, in the recent time period, how much of temperature got raised right from 1800, it is 0.86 over the ocean body. But here within a span of just 23 years, means what, just 2 decades, there is a rise of 0.6 degrees centigrade, meaning what, in the recent past this change is very rampant. Got the point? Over the centuries where the change is negligible, rising like 0.01, 0.02, but in the recent times the change is very rapid. Why? Because again the anthropogenic factors. It is always the man's influence over the water bodies, right? Whenever he is changing the 3 rims, what are the 3 limbs? One is the lithosphere, another one is atmosphere, another one is the hydrosphere. Any realm whether it may be lithosphere or atmosphere or hydrosphere, whenever it is impacted, the other two obviously will get impacted. We have changed the composition of the gas by burning more and more fossil fuels, right? This is the one. Now, what are the impacts? You need to give the impacts, whatever the impact you are trying to provide in the answer, make sure that you are supporting your statement. Like the best example, say for example, you are writing this one, high intensity cyclones because of high temperature. What is the major condition for the occurrence of the tropical cyclones? The temperature should be more than 27 degrees centigrade. When the sea surface temperature, a minimum of 26.5 is rising. When the sea surface temperature is beyond 26.5, every chance is there for the occurrence of the tropical cyclones, right? When the temperature rises to 26.5 and 27 degrees centigrade, then what happens? You can find more chances for the occurrence of the tropical cyclone. That is what you know. When you know that statement, the intensity will be very high because of high temperature. Don't simply write the statement. Whatever the statement you get, if at all you are giving the statement alone and you are moving to another statement, what happens? It appears like you have given the statement in a vague manner. That is the one everyone will be doing the same thing. Like the occurrence of the tropical cyclones, intensity increases, frequency of the tropical cyclones increases, everyone will be writing. The frequency of the tropical cyclone increase will be there. The intensity of the tropical cyclones will be there more. Everyone will be writing the same point, but how to differ from the other answers? Always provide some examples. Whenever the live or the current examples are being given, your answer becomes authentic. Meaning what? Your statement, whatever the statement you have given in the top, that becomes authentic. Meaning what? You are telling to the evaluator, I am giving the statement not just like that. See the evidence. Recently something happened. See the best example, the recent cyclone that happened in the coast of the Bengal and the Bangladesh region, devastating the Bangladesh area, even up to the Chittagong area and the Myanmar region. The cyclone called as Rainfall. Why it was having such a great intensity? Because of increasing sea surface temperature, right? These are the, again, earlier, you can go back to at least 1 year of time period. Before Joy devastated the Gujarat coast, not just in the Bay of Bengal, even on the other side, the Arabian Sea. If you can give at least one example, more than sufficient. No need to provide more number of examples. Make sure that you are writing more points, like more characters of this particular thing, and give example for each and every character. Instead of writing only one character and providing 10 examples, doesn't make any sense. Like intensity of the tropical cyclone increases, just one example. Then frequency of the tropical cyclone increases, yes, give one example. Instead of that one, frequency, and you are writing more examples without talking about the intensity, then again you will be losing the marks. Clear? That is what the demand, right? Intensity of the cyclones increases. The best example, what happened in the year 2023, the hurricanes that are there in the Atlantic Ocean are very intensified. Majority of them are at the scale of the category of 3, very high intensity cyclones. Then the next impact is the broader cyclone formation area. When the sea surface temperature is more extensive in the extensive area, then there is a larger area where you can find the tropical cyclones taking birth. Not just in that area, this area you can find the broader area. There can be huge area where you can find the chances for the occurrence of the tropical cyclones. You can give this particular statement, like in the recent past, in the year 2024, the Arabian Sea surface temperature is very abnormally high, and so the temperatures, because of the sea surface temperature, more amount of monsoonal rainfall happen in India. That can also be an example. That can also be an example, right? This is about the statement that is given, like the cyclones typically originate in the region where the sea surface temperature exceeds about 26 degrees centigrade with rising average temperature. These formation zones are likely to grow. And the example. See, for every statement, the examples, if at all you are giving the examples, your answer becomes valid answer. Right? Then What are the other important one? There is a quick formation of the cyclone, not just intensity, not just frequency, even not just area where the occurrence of the tropical cyclones can be more, even what can be there? What can be there? You can find the quicker conversion of the cyclone, which is called as, just now in our example, like while introducing this one, I talked about a tropical cyclone called as Freddy, right? That Freddy got rapidly intensified, which is called as rapid intensification of the cyclone. This is called as the rapid intensification of the cyclone. Normally, cyclone will be intensifying gradually, slowly, but the recent incidents, one is Freddy, another one is the recent one, that is the Biporjoy. The Indian Meteorological Department unable to identify how it got intensified so quickly. That is what happened. Also, even in the other one, the earlier cyclones like Amphan in 2020, then also in the case of Fani cyclone. See, there are so many examples where the rapid intensification is happening. Why such a rapid intensification is happening? Again, whenever the supply of energy is there from the water body. How the tropical cyclones get energized? The tropical cyclones get energized because of two feeding factors. One factor is the latent heat of condensation. Whenever the latent heat of evaporation goes vertically up, it cools, giving out the heat energy. That heat will be making the system energized, so that the cyclonic winds becomes stronger and stronger. As and when they become stronger and stronger, they goes to the height of 12 kilometers, they cool, they become condense, and they give heavy to heavy rainfall. After giving the rainfall, what happens to these winds that are circulating? They move out, they come down, again they are joining into the system. Again they are joining into the system. How it happens? Now see this one, how it is happening. It happens like, see the condition, how it is happening. Suppose if this is the cyclone. Now see that just a small diagram. If we can draw such type of diagrams, then you can get good marks. Like this is what the picture of the cyclone. This is what the circulation that is happening over the water body. Now the air is rising vertically up. When the air rises vertically up here, it will be keep on intensifying. The cyclone is intensifying and the circulation is happening like this one. This is the center of the cyclone, which is called as the eye of the cyclone. And around the eye, the winds are circulating and they are going to the height of up to the 12 kilometers. At around 12 kilometers of height, what happens? They move out. They move out of the system and again they subsides here like this one. What is there? This is completely the water body, right? It comes to the lower reaches. Again it gets taken or sucked into the system like this one, making this as a complete cycle like this one, making this as a complete cycle. Because of these two feeding factors. One factor is the one which is called as latent heat of condensation. The other factor is this circulation. Nevertheless, some other wind means what? Some few air they enter into the center of the system, making this one the intense low pressure area. This is what the eye of the cyclone, which is called as the center of the cyclone, which is always calm. Then no turbulence is there. Clear sky is visible. This is what the picture. If you have this picture in the mind, you can talk about every other thing. Always, the diagram should be there in the back of your mind, and then you can explain everything. What are the two feeding factors that is intensifying the tropical cyclone? One is the latent heat of condensation. The major source is the latent heat of condensation. The other source is the circulating air system. This is what the air is acting as the circulation, and it is pumped into the system at the bottom, intensely heated up, they rise vertically up, takes the moisture from the bottom, gives intense precipitation, moves out, again cool and dry air comes down, and so that is called as the high pressure area. This is a low pressure area. What is the definition of the cyclone? Center of low pressure surrounded by the high pressure winds. Entire concept, if it is there, you can write in a better fashion. Right? See the current and the core. What is the current? Increasing sea surface temperature. And the core is cyclone, tropical cyclones. How you are going to interconnect? That is your acumen, your ability. Fine? This is the first and foremost question. What should be the conclusion? The conclusion always should be given in a very positive mood. The conclusion should be given in a positive mood. What is that positive mood? Then the quicker intensification, again some more statements like increase moisture. Why not increasing moisture when the air is subsiding? Again it is rising. What the air is bringing? Moisture. And so increase moisture, right? Then the extended cyclone season. In this extended cyclones, you can give the example like Freddy, 37 days. The duration of the tropical cyclone is for 37 days, which has crisscrossed right from Australia till Madagascar. Just imagine, right? These are all the important points where you can give conclusion. What is the conclusion you can talk? The rise in the sea surface temperature due to climate change is expected to make more cyclones intense and destructive. Meaning what? The man should get prepared. You need to get prepared in such a fashion where the intensity of the cyclones is definitely going to be high in the future, but get ready. It's optimistic, right? Cyclones more intense and destructive, posing increased risk to the coastal communities around the world, right? Where there are the predicted risks are there, definitely you need to get prepared. This is the conclusion. Clear? This is about the first question, which is about the sea surface temperature. Now, see the second one, which is related to the urbanization. In the urbanization means what? In the human geography, you can talk about the urbanization, the rapid urbanization that is happening, and so attracting. It is the urban centers are attracting more and more people from the nearby cities and the towns, villages. Not only from the rural areas, even from the tier 2, tier 3 cities also. Answer the question, see the question. Why do large cities tend to attract more migrants than smaller towns? Meaning what? What is the capacity to have the sphere of influence for the larger cities compared to the smaller cities? Compared to the smaller cities, the larger cities are having the larger sphere of influence. They can pull more people towards its center. Discuss in the light of conditions in the developing countries. The question is with respect to the prime cities, the class 1, tier 1 cities and developing countries. Identifying the key point. See the question. What is the key point? Migration towards the tier 1 cities, large cities, which are nothing but tier 1 cities. Then the other key important term is developing countries. Why it is developing countries? Just imagine, if at all you are keeping this one aside, just for a time being, had it been the developed countries, see the trend, had it been the developed countries, what is happening in the developed countries. Probably this may be the question in the next year or maybe the forthcoming exams. Why? Because what is the trend in the developed countries? If this is replaced by the developed countries, the question also should be replaced like, why do smaller cities and the rural areas tend to attract more migrants than the larger cities? Because that is what is happening in the very large urban centers, maybe in the New York, maybe in the Tokyo, conurbation, in the New York conurbation, even in the Los Angeles of USA, nothing but California region. What is happening? The affluent people are moving away from the very busy urban centers. They are going to the rural areas. They are going for the periphery areas. They are going far away from the city areas, and they are going to live in a very, very calm, serene, peaceful, unpolluted conditions. This is what is happening in the developed world. Now the question is regarding the developing countries. Developing countries, what is happening? The people from the smaller areas are coming to the big centers. In the developed world, the reverse is happening. Probably that can be a question in the forthcoming exams. You need to have, see, this is the model. It is simply the model, because I bet no one who have written this exam are sitting here. Right? No one, the exam, once it is done, and you are no way you are sitting here and you are listening. You are for the futuristic exams, and so you need to catch the pulse. What can be? What is the trend? Even that is not asked, it is asked in a different way. You can give the example of this one, because the statement itself shows that. Why? Means what? It is confirming. UPSC itself is telling, but positively saying that yes, the larger cities are attracting more migrants in the developing countries. It is a given statement. It is a positive statement. It is confirmed statement. It is believing that people are moving towards the. When UP itself is telling that yes, the people are moving towards the larger centers, yes, you need to accept that one. Right? In the developed world, something different is happening. These can be given as an examples for you in the answer in the futuristic exams. Right? Now, see, this is the trend that is happening in the developing countries. Now, what is the approach? What is your approach? Introduction. You need to show the examples. Means what? You need to give one very live case study within the introduction itself. Hitting the answer with bullseye. Meaning what? Hitting directly instead of beating around the bush. Directly talk. Yes, this is the trend that is happening in the developed countries. So this is a country. This is a city. This is the city. That is a country. All the people are migrating to this one. When all the people are migrating to one particular area, yes, big cities are attracting more migrants than that of the smaller cities. Right? This is the introduction. Yeah, introduction about the large cities, developing countries, which are attracting. Right? Then, what are the reasons? What are the reasons? Pull factors, because it is having all sorts of facilities. What type of facilities needs to be explained in the body? What type of facilities are there? You need to explain in the body, like better education, better infrastructure, better amenities, better sanitation, better supply of drinking water, piped drinking water, where they are highly, means what? Again, the housing facilities are there, good lavish transportation system is there, wide roads are there, internet facility is there, uninterrupted internet services are there, right? Quick response whenever something goes wrong, quick response, like something disaster happened, maybe the road got cut it off. In the rural areas, how many days it will take for reconstruction of the dilapidated roads? The people are least bothered there, that governance is not effective. But whereas in the cities, though the road is sufficiently good, again the administration will be keep on patching up the roads, beautifying the center. Gardening can be seen in the center of the city. The aestheticism is brought, because if anyone is coming, maybe the foreign delegates are coming in order to show what is India, then again the decorations, aestheticism will be done, spending crores of rupees. And so these are all the reasons why the big cities are attracting. And finally, Conclusion. What the conclusion? Always give the conclusion according to your, what is called as your basic mindset. Project that, yes, you are a person who is having an integrity of the country, who can bring the betterment to the country, who is always thinking positive, not having any negative idea in your mind. That is what you need to project. You need to project yourself as if you are the, yes, I am the one who is meant for UPSC. It is what the conclusion. Conclusion is an opportunity for you. What is conclusion? Conclusion is the best opportunity for you to project your character. Right? This is what the structure you need to maintain. Statement, the first one, large cities are acting as a powerful magnets, and this is the one, like, according to the data, see the data. Earlier also I have given, if any data is there, supply the data. If at all you are supplying the data, your answer becomes, your statement becomes the valid statement. Right? What is the statement? According to the World Bank, by 2036, urban areas in India will contribute to nearly 70% of the country's GDP. Sir, where can I get such type of data? You need to read the newspaper. That's why I said that in the beginning itself. It is the newspaper which is giving more and more information about the type of questions that are going to ask. Right? Then, what are the factors? See, just hold on, don't go through this one. Whenever such questions are asked, always you should be having the broader factors, not just this question. You need to have a design ready-made available before the exam, like any relation, like maybe the relation between two countries, Indo-Bangladesh relation, Indo-US relation, right? Or maybe some other questions like, what is the impact of this particular phenomena on that one? Why such large cities are attracting? Always you need to have a broader framework, like administrative factors, economic factors, political factors, social factors, cultural factors. These are the very broad headings. Whenever you are dividing the factors in such a way, like political factors, where the political stability is maintained, then law and order is maintained there, a very better governance is there, right? Administrative factor, all these things we can talk about the administrative factor, like better sanitation, better underground water facilities, right? Then cultural factors, social factors, economic factors, better job opportunities. When more and more job opportunities are there, the people are having very great freedom to do the job here. Or if you feel like you are overqualified for the job, you can leave the job and can pick up some other job. You will be having the greater autonomy. These are the ones, like, political factors, administrative factors, then what is called as the social factors, economic factors, cultural factors. If you are having some few points under these headings, then you are ready for the mains part. Is it clear? This is what the framework you need to have before the exam itself. Economic opportunities. Just by seeing the one, no need to explain, no need to read even. Why the areas like Delhi? Why Delhi? The people are migrating right from Punjab, right from Haryana, right from UP, right from Bihar. More number of Bihar population got migrated to Delhi. Right from the Madhya Pradesh region, right from Assam, right from, sir, is it because India, it is Indian capital? Then what to talk about Bombay? Bombay has attracted the people right from Assam. Do you know this one? Bangalore is a city which has attracted the people from the northeastern India. It's not the capital city. It's a big city because of economic opportunities. When more and more economic opportunities are there, definitely the people will be migrating, right? Always the human wants the better economic prospects, right? See the economic opportunities. You need to substantiate your statement with the example. Whenever you are giving examples, then only your statement is valid. Then better health, good hospitals, more equipments, more surgeons, better knowledge, right? This is the one. Again, answer. Example should be there. Better housing. The houses are good, not in a dilapidated condition, or not in the kacha houses, they are pakka houses. Better roads, right? The infrastructure, sanitation is there, underground drainage system, better drinking water. What is there in the other areas? It's not there. These are the pull factors. Whatever is not there, they becomes the push factors, right? These are the things. Better connectivity, road, transportation, metros. Now the government is talking about the hyperloops also. There are some still in the negotiations whether to go for the hyperloops transportation, right? All these are the things that are happening. Then freedom and autonomy. What is that freedom and autonomy? The people are having greater freedom to pursue whatever the act they are liking, and they feel like whenever they are overqualified, definitely they will be shifting the jobs from one company to another company. Greater autonomy is there, right? Thus, finally, the combination of diverse economic prospects, better infrastructure and the connectivity and greater personal autonomy makes larger cities more attractive, right? This is the general conclusion. You can write your own conclusion, right? Now, every year a regular trend is there. One question or the other question where it is regarding the geophysical phenomena, right? Now see this one. What is the question? What is the phenomenon of the cloudburst? Explain. Simply they are giving like one line statement. What is the phenomenon of the cloudburst? Explain. You need to explain the definition, the formation, areas where it is happening. Even you need to talk a little about the impacts of that cloudburst. If at all you are talking about four in a point wise, in a bullet points, your answer is done. You start with the conclusion. What is the conclusion? What is the key point? Cloudburst. The only key word that is present is called as the cloudburst. Explain what you mean by cloudburst. Meaning what? The definition given by the Indian Meteorological Department. If at all you are writing that one, your introduction becomes perfect. Then under the body, you talk about what is called as the entire mechanism, how the cloudburst happens, what are the factors that are affecting the, how factors influencing the occurrence of the cloudburst, and also after the factors, impacts of the cloudburst. Then conclude. See, cloudburst in urban areas will be devastating, like urban areas get submerged. The cloudburst in the hilly areas will be resulting in the landslides, right? In the plain areas, it leads to the soil erosion. And finally, the better administrative technique should be there to manage such type of extreme adverse events. And so the government should be on its toes so that the mechanism can bring in force in such a way that where the cloudburst events the impacts of the cloudburst events can be reduced. Right? If you can talk about this one, this is more than sufficient. Now, see the one. What should be the introduction? You need to define. Introduce the definition given by the IMD. Provide any data that is present there. Right? In the recent time. What is the recent time? What happened recently? Let me give one data. What happened in the recent past? In the case of Himachal Pradesh, in the important tourism destinations like Kulu, Mandi area, also in the Shimla, the capital city of Himachal Pradesh, there was a intense cloudburst. And so the question, right? You can write like this one. In the context of recent Himachal Pradesh cloudburst, earlier what happened? Sikkim. Earlier what happened? Kedarnath region. Right? There are good number of examples earlier in the, what is this one called as the Western Ghats region, Bombay. Cloudbursts are recurringly happening in India, especially in two areas. What are the two prominent areas where you can find the cloudburst in India? One is the Himalayan region, right from Jammu Kashmir till Arunachal Pradesh. In the entire Himalayas regions, you can find the occurrence of the cloudburst. Then, what is the other one? The Western Ghats region. In that area, again, you can find the cloudburst phenomena. Right? These are the two very prominent areas where you can find the cloudburst on a great scale. What is the definition? See the definition. What according to the IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, what is the literal meaning of the cloudburst? It's not like the explosion of the cloud. Since it is an informal word, but it is very popularly accepted by the entire public, therefore the word is still is in voyage. What is the literal meaning of the cloudburst? Nothing but in a very small limited area, if there is a intense precipitation within a short duration of time. In a short duration of time, intense precipitation in a small area. In the area it should be less. When the area is less, then only the volume of the water can inundate the land. Nothing but submerges the land. Right? This is the context. What IMD has given the numbers, like how much of rainfall should be there? 10 centimeters. Any amount of rainfall which is equivalent to 10 centimeters of rainfall or 100 millimeters. Whether it can express this one in the 100 millimeters or in the terms of centimeters as 10 centimeters. Right? Any rainfall which is equivalent to 100 millimeters or 10 centimeters within just a short duration of time, 1 hour, just 1 hour. Within 1 hour, 100 centimeters, 100 millimeters of rainfall happens in a small area. What is the small area? Maybe 10 square kilometers, maybe 20 square kilometers, maybe 30 square kilometers, maximum 30 square kilometers. Right? Within a small area, meaning what? Maybe as small as 10 square kilometers or somewhat, larger. It's not so small. Let me give one more area like maybe 20 square kilometers. At most, it can be the area should be some 30 square kilometers. Not more than that one. This is what the less area, high rainfall within a short duration. Right? This is what the definition given by the Indian Meteorological Department. Then what happens? What is the significance? Means what? What happens? You talk about the time duration. What is the time duration? Normally occurs during July and August. What is this July and August? In fact, these 2 months are the main rain-giving months of the southwest monsoonal winds. Entire India is getting rainfall because of largely southwest monsoonal rainfall. It is only Tamil Nadu which is receiving the rainfall during the retreating monsoonal season. Nothing but the northeast monsoonal season, right? During the onset of the monsoons, like southwest monsoonal season, it starts right from the 1st of June, but it is confined to the southern part in the Malabar coast. By the time it is July, by the time it is 15th July, entire India will be covered. Majority of the Himalayan regions are covered, and almost all, by the time it is 15th of June itself, the Western Ghats will be covered, right? When all these areas are covered, therefore, in the month of July and August, there can be every chance of having greater rainfall because of the cloudburst. How it happens? Before going to see how it happens, this is the time period where you can find the greater occurrence of the cloudburst. And where it is happening? It is happening in the 2 areas. One is the Himalayan region, other one is the Western Ghats area. If at all you want to specifically talk about Himalayas, especially the northeastern India, right? Then the Western Ghats area. This is about the same point that is being explained in a different context, right? Then what is the phenomenon of the cloudburst? See the phenomena. How did the cloudburst occurs? What is the condition is, as and when the plain areas are meeting with the mountainous region. The winds which are having the moisture, nothing but the warm and the moist winds, whenever they are blowing over the plain areas, if they are obstructed by the tall mountains, they are rapidly uplifted. Whenever they are rapidly uplifted, what happens? Intense concentration of the cloud happens, intense condensation happens, the rapid condensation happens, and so you can find the huge volume of water that is there in the cloud, and all of a sudden it starts giving the precipitation. This is the condition. What is the basic condition? The rapid upliftment. A sudden upliftment of the moisture laden winds should be there, right? That is what is given. Orographic upliftment, or maybe the movement of the monsoonal winds that is there, or maybe what is the other condition? The absence of upper air circulation movement, nothing but upper air movement. What do you mean by absence of upper air movement? Whenever the winds are blowing, suppose if this is the mountain, the winds are blowing somewhere here. When the winds blow with a great velocity there, which is called as the vertical wind shear. What it is called as? It is called as the vertical wind shear. the vertical wind shear, suppose the vertical wind shear is, this is the one, see the vertical wind shear. Suppose if this is the plain area, right, if this is the surface, if this is the surface like this one, these are the mountains that are there. Whenever you are seeing the winds that are rising along the slopes of the mountain, here you can find the very great formation of the cloud, and you can find the intense precipitation. If the winds that are blowing here are of greater velocity, the velocity is around some maybe 100 kilometers per hour, say for example, then what happens to this cloud? This is washed away. Therefore, the vertical wind shear should be low. Whenever the low vertical wind shear is there, then you can find the intense cloud formation, and the cloud get concentrating the rainfall at one particular place, right? This is about the condition that is being talked about. Then the concentrated localized downpour. The cloudburst is the one where the concentrating of the rainfall at one place. That is what the definition is also giving. Like 10 square kilometers or maybe 20. At most it can be some 30 square kilometers of area where the entire concentration of the rainfall should be there. When the entire rainfall that is happening only in that area, then it is called as the cloud burst, right? This is what the finally conclusion. What is the conclusion? Because of the changing climatic conditions, more and more cloudbursts can be expected in the future, but the administration should be on the toes. We should be well prepared for such type of events, right? These are the important conclusions that are given, right? Conclusion, whenever you are talking about the futuristic planning, futuristic programming, futuristic schemes, then you are optimistic in nature, right? This is about the third question. Let us move to the fourth question. Again, the question which is related to the human geography. See this concept. What is the concept of demographic winter? Is the world moving towards such a situation? Elaborate. Had the question was given, you should be very careful with such type of questions in the future. In the future, you are going to attempt these type of questions. You are going to write UPSC Mains paper. Therefore, you should be on your toes. Always UPSC will be giving such type of questions. The terminology, see the terminology. Demographic winter. Had the question was asked like, the entire world is moving towards the low birth rates and the aging population. Elaborate the situation with respect to the world. More than 90% of the students might have written a perfect answer. With this very word, demographic winter, as the people are unaware of what is that demographic winter, right? Because of that one, more than minimum of 40 to 50% of the people would have left the question. They know the answer. See the very paradox. A very, very great paradox, like they know the answer, they can give the answer, they are having the caliber to give the answer, but just not knowing the meaning of what is the demographic winter, they are forced to leave the question. This is what is happening. Had the question was, the entire world is moving towards the low birth rates and the low fertility rates, nothing but the low birth rates, low fertility rates, and aging population. Elaborate the situation with respect to the world countries. Had this is the question, 90, why 90? 99% of the people would have given the answer perfectly. On the whatever the expected answer of the UPSC, they would have given the answer. But right now, the percentage of the people who are attending this question is around some maybe 50, 40%. Just because of ignorant of what is demographic winter. Right? And so, in the future, you needs to be on your toes. You need to identify such type of key terms that are there in the world scenarios. Right? It is because in India, the population is almost sufficient, and so we are not talking more about this one. But the entire world, if at all you are talking about the Eastern world, as well as the Western world, nothing but the Oriental world, also the Occidental world, both the worlds are suffering with the declining birth rates. On one side, the country like Japan is devastated with the what is called as more elderly population people, nothing but where it is called as the concept of geriatric population. Again, this can be a question because the entire world is moving towards age-old population group. Therefore, the problems of geriatrics will be there. Definitely, the questions in the future can be there on these geriatric problems. The country should spend more money in the service sectors, more and more, meaning what? More and more money has to be poured because these people are unable to contribute to the economy. They are the dependent people, age-old population. Whatever the young generation, less population, they are working hard. Their money needs to be spent on these people in the form of services. That is the responsibility of the government. Whereas the young generation, the kids population is very less. If at all you are seeing the demographic pyramid, what do you mean by pyramid? Nothing but the population pyramid. The population pyramid appears almost all, how the population pyramid appears almost all in the demographic winter situations. The population pyramid will be something like this one. If this is the age-sex ratio, what is the population pyramid? Nothing but the age-sex ratio. These are the females. On one side, this is the male population, right? What type of pyramid can be there? What type of pyramid can be there? The pyramid appears something like this one. See the pyramid? Meaning what? This is the pyramid which is in an inverted condition. Like if I draw the pyramid in a very simpler way, the pyramid is something like this one. This is the child population. This is the working age population. Working age population. This is the old age. In this country, who is more? Old population is more. In this country, who is less? Child is less. Both these two are depending on whom? The working age. What happened in the future? Just imagine what happened in the future. These are the people, they are need to come here. This very pyramid becomes further less in size, shrinking. Is it a desirable condition? No. What is desirable condition? More population is desirable? No. See the condition, very tragic condition, like we don't need more population, we don't need less population. What is required is optimum population. The countries like South Korea, see the developments, see the economic development, see the population development. Just compare and analyze the importance of this one and feel, you need to feel empathetic to the conditions. If you are feeling empathetic to the condition, definitely you can write a better answer. Let me give you the condition. What is the condition? What happened in the case of South Korea, Japan, even the country is moving ahead towards the demographic winter by even the country like China. Also the countries in the western side, like the country like Italy, Germany, to a certain extent. US is about to move. Canada, Australia here, right? New Zealand, all these are the countries where they are having the less birth rates. That is what is happening. What is the condition? What do you mean by optimum population? Whenever the birth rates are equivalent to replacement. What do you mean by replacement ratio? What is replacement? The total fertility rate, nothing but the birth rates, should be equivalent to replacement rates. Should be equivalent to the replacement ratio or rate. What do you mean by replacement ratio? Two parents, mother and father, are replaced by two kids, just like in India. What is the slogan? Hum do, hamare do. Right? This is what the condition. Hum do, hamare do is a concept. Meaning what is the slogan that is given way back by Government of India is the replacement ratio. That is the reason. What is the total replacement ratio right now in India? It is 2.0. What is the total fertility rate? It's 2.1. Right? This is what the fertility rate means. What is this total fertility rate? The capacity for the women to give birth. How many live births can be given by the women in that particular area? It is 2.1. Meaning what? Each and every woman in India is capable of giving on an average 2 birds. Right? 2 live birds. And so which is equivalent to the replacement ratio. Whenever the replacement ratio is equivalent to the birth rates, the people will be taking birth, the oldest people will be dying, and so they are replaced. Which is called as optimum population. Since we are not facing the heat in India, the demographic winter concept is not widely explained. What is this winter? In fact, why the people use this word winter? Because normally in the severe temperate condition areas, in the upper latitudes, where do you find the developed countries? Majority of the developed countries are there in the temperate regions. In the temperate areas, which is a very, very intense, severe season, the extreme season, it is the winter season. Like in the tropical areas, it is the severe summer season where we are devastated because of the heat waves and all these things, the hot type of climatic conditions. Whereas in the temperate regions, the people are having more severity, they are facing more severity because of winters. During the winters, you cannot find any sort of productivity. The entire ecological productivity comes to a halt. Meaning what? The trees shed their leaves, entire trees appears barren, not even a single leaf can be there by the time it is fall. Nothing but by the time it is the autumn season. Why the autumn season is also called as fall season? Because all the leaves are falling. Therefore, it is called as the fall season. Right? All the entire trees, you talk about all the trees, all the trees will be shedding their leaves. And so, you can find the bare trees, the open forest, and throughout the winter, right from, in the northern hemisphere, right from the October time period till March, meaning what? 23rd of September till 21st of March, meaning what? If at all you are remembering the conditions, like in the climatology, you might have come across this one. What is this one? This is equinox, 23rd of September till 21st of March. This is called as spring equinox. This is called as autumn equinox. This is called as autumn equinox. This is called as winter. The earth is, the northern hemisphere is reeling under the winter, this side. This side is the summer. Right? This is a winter. Right from here to here, entirely the movement of the earth, right from this area to this position, entire season is a winter, and the temperate world will not be seeing any great growth of the productions. And so it is named as such in winter the productivities are very low. The birth of the leaves, the birth of the other important things are very low, and so the human also. Demographic winter. That is what the word that is given there. Clear? If you know the word, definitely you will be writing the answer in a perfect way. But if you don't know the word, you can't do anything. Therefore, you should be concentrating on such type of key words. Whenever they are there in the internet, whenever they are appearing in the newspaper, catch such type of catchy words. If you can catch such type of catchy words, then well and good, right? Now what happened? What is the scenario? Understand this one. This is the not just the declining population, and some of the countries are facing the problem. It is a world phenomenon. When the world has developed to such an extent, produced so many products, more cars, more buildings, but when the people are not there, for what the cars are? Such a huge houses, big lavish bungalows are there when there is no person to live in. Few people, 10 people, 100 bungalows. Is of what use? Already they have constructed hundreds of bungalows, thousands, lakhs, millions of cars, but the people are not there. Who will be driving? Now the infrastructural facilities are more, the people are less. This is a very tragic condition. That the country should not go in such type of demographic situation, which is a great loss to the country. That country can never again will be in a developed mode. Therefore, the people are trying their level best to ask their youngsters, they are encouraging their young population to get married early, to go for more number of kids. This is what the trend that is happening in the world countries. Japan is giving incentives. Japan is giving some promotions. Japan is giving some type of the flexibility in the office timing for the parents who have given birth for one kid. If they are giving birth for second kid, again more and more encouragement. Right? This is on one side of the world. Let me talk about the country called as China. When China was having overpopulation, what this country done? This country has gone for coercive population policy. Coercive population policy. What is this coercive population policy? It brought a law, it brought a rule, and anyone is crossing that rule, they are being penalized heavily. The name of the policy was called as one-child policy. With that one-child policy, where the couple, the parents are willing to give birth for 2 kids, but they are forced by law. By law, they were forced not to give birth for more than 2 kids. I mean, not to give more than 1 kid. Even though the couple are interested, by law, they have coercively stopped the population. That was 70s, 80s, right? But China government is asking, come on, young generation, I am uplifting the law. The rule is uplifted. There is no question of one-child norm right now. Go for more number of kids, because we are also moving into the demographic winter. What is the total fertility rate of China? Around some 1.8 or some 1.5, 1.5 or 1.8, right? Meaning what? Less than 2%. When it is less than 2, and so we are having greater infrastructure, but the people are not there. When the people are not there, all the assets will be of no use. Come on, you produce more, but the people are not ready right now. Then also the people are not ready, but coercive action was done. Here now in this condition, people are not ready, but the China cannot go for coercive actions. What is this coercive action? Meaning what? If there is a bachelor, that bachelor will be kept behind bars or what? You fellow, you didn't get married, come on, I am arresting you because you didn't get married. It cannot be done. You fellow, you are a bachelor, I am taxing you more. The taxes for the products, whatever you are purchasing is more. No, you cannot tell like that one. Got the point? This is what called as the coercive action cannot be done in this case. And so even the once a heavily populated country like China is also facing the heat. Because of such very tragic condition, the question was asked. This is the background of the question. This is the background. When you know the background, then you can give an effective answer. Now see this one. What do you need to talk about? What do you mean by demographic winter first of all? Then talk about the factors that are leading to the demographic winter. Then also what type of countries are, give some data with respect to the countries and their total fertility rates. Also conclude accordingly. This is the photo, the introduction. What is the introduction? The fertility rates falling below the replacement. This is the key terminology you need to use. The fertility rates are falling below the replacement rate, approximately 2.1 children per woman. When the fertility rates are falling below the replacement rate, then it leads to demographic winter. Now, Many countries are experiencing such type of condition. Global fertility got declined. What is the best example according to the reports given by the Global Burden on Disease, Injuries and the Risk Factor Study by in the year 2021? What it said, the world fertility, which was in 1950, was 4.84, meaning what? Every woman was capable of giving 5 kids once upon a time in 1950, but now just 2.23. See that rapid, drastic decline, and so it is a cause of concern, right? Then, aging population. What happened when the birth rate is not there? The people who are there already, they become older people. Aging population. Then the some of the important data. See, what is the Korea's fertility rate? 0.72. Whereas the world's lowest is the South Korea's. Japan is 1.2. Italy is just 1.24, very close to Japan. Then Germany 1.58, such a big country. If it is having just 1.5, what happens to the infrastructure conditions? What happens to the economic development? What happens to all those facilities the government already has produced? No one will be there for utilizing those things, right? This is what the happening all over the world. But on the other side, there are some countries, the African countries, like Niger. What is the fertility rate? 6.7. But what type of structure, what type of facilities are there? The people are not skilled. The people are not having even the better health conditions. Also, the country like Afghanistan, having the fertility rate of 4.5. Pakistan, 3.4. And finally, you need to explain, means what, conclude the answer, like saying that demographic winter is not a desirable condition. The countries go down with respect to the economic development. The more developments cannot be there. And so the optimum population needs to be brought. Right? This is the conclusion.
Completing the syllabus without proper knowledge of current affairs will not take you far in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Regulate and transform your preparation with complete coverage of news of relevance. Get a concrete hold of current affairs for UPSC CSE with Vision IS Monthly Current Affairs Revision Program starting from 20th September at 5 p.m. The program is your guide to get comprehensive news on one platform sourced through relevant resources such as The Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB, Yojana and others. Enroll for complete coverage of current affairs including Indian polity and constitution, economy, international relations and more. Comprehensive assessment of preparation through MCQs and mains-oriented questions. Expert support through personalized mentoring and online doubt resolution.
Then the next question with respect to the very current development right now, in the year 2019, what happened? Central Waterworks Commission has given a report saying that the Great Northern Plains are getting fast depleting their groundwater resource. Again, recently, the Central Groundwater report also says that in the Gangetic Plains already the declining started. In the light of those things, the question was asked. And so in the introduction itself, you can enlist these two reports. In your introduction itself, you can enlist these two reports. You need to cultivate this habit. In the introduction, what needs to be written? Any report that is given in the recent past, or definition, or any some recent happenings. Because of that happening, this is the question, and so talk about that one. Right? This is the one where the introduction should be there, and whenever you are cultivating such type of habit, writing the introduction in this way, your answer will be a powerful answer, which attracts the evaluator's attention, right? When he is seeing so many papers, when your answer is somewhat in a unique way, definitely will be given more marks, right? One extra mark matters a lot, right? Now see this one. The groundwater potential of the Gangetic Valley is on a serious decline. How may it affect the food security? What are the two important key terms? Groundwater decline, then the food security. Identifying the two things, give the definition. What do you mean by groundwater? Then what do you mean by food security? And then data which is given by some of the important organizations. This should form the introduction. Then the body, connecting the groundwater decline and the food security. Give the reasons for the groundwater decline, why the groundwater decline is happening, and then talk about the impacts of the decline of the groundwater, and finally conclusion. Always in a structured manner. If at all you are arranging things in a structured manner, then you will be given good marks, right? This is what the one. See the Gangetic, you need to explain the Gangetic Valley and the groundwater. These areas of alluvial plain heavily dependent on the groundwater for irrigation. The fertile soils makes the valley stretching from the state of Uttarakhand region till Bihar and Bengal, right? This is what the introduction. If you can remember some of the data, that is very, very important. See the situation of the groundwater as given by the Central Groundwater Board. The Central Groundwater Board said that the groundwater, see the red dots, could you see the red dots? In this area, especially in the western region and even the western UP also, the state like UP, which is heavily populated state, is having the less water, groundwater reserves. Then you can find again in the patches of the southern state, whereas eastern states are somewhat better. Why? Because eastern India is getting more rainfall, right? See this picture. This picture itself is a one which is self-explanatory in nature. If you can draw a small diagram like this one. And sure, see, no need to, sir, how to draw this one, sir? It's very, very difficult, sir. No, you can show in a very, very simpler way. Like, say, for example, basically, you should be practicing at least, the India map. You should have some idea about the India map like this one. If you can draw the India map in a very, very small fashion like this one. Right? And you need not to show exactly the structure, right? Meaning what? Need not to draw very perfectly. If you are practicing for 5-6 times, a rough picture can be there. Show that this is the area. This is the area where the groundwater got depleted in a maximum scale. Also patches of this area, the groundwater got depleted. In this area, again, somewhat greater depleting of groundwater. The other area is not that much depleted. If we can show like this one, it itself becomes a very perfect explanation. That is the reason, always try to read the reports, whatever the reports that are given in the Yojana book, Kurukshetra book, they are very, very important because they are the governmental reports. Basically, they are the governmental reports, right? When any report is issued by the central government of India, definitely that will be having the more weightage. Even that is having, that will be taken as authentic source for UPSC, right? If you can draw this a rough picture, your job is done. Especially for those questions which are asked for 250 words and 15 marks. Especially for those questions which are of 250 words and 15 words. If it is 10 markers, yes, you can explain the black and white, means what words and letters. But for this 250 words and 50 marks question, as a condition, any such question is asked, show a simple picture, right? This is what you need to practice. Definitely there is no way out. You have to practice. Like, sir, why, sir, my optional is sociology, sir, my option is anthropology, why I need to practice? At least rough picture if you can draw. See, I am not asking you to draw the world map. India map, if at all we are in India, at least roughly, if not so beautifully, at least there must be some appearance like it appears like, yes, it is India. If it is not appearing like India, draw the map and write heading as India. Right? At least, you can do that one. Right? These are conditions. Then, what is the main reasons here? What are reasons for the groundwater depletion? What are the main reasons for the groundwater depletion? The main reason is agriculture. Consumes, according to the World Bank report 2021, more than 90% of the waters of the groundwater in the Gangetic Plains are being depleted for only for agriculture. In that specific year, 90% of the water, groundwater is being depleted, where the percentage in the world countries was not so high. Only in India it is 90%, whereas in the other countries it is hardly 60, 70%. But in the world countries, but here in India it is there. Then climate changes and the erratic monsoons. When the monsoon is not good, when the climatic changes are happening, the monsoons are frequently failing, the breaks in the monsoons are there, then all these things are impacting the amount of water availability. Then rapid urbanization, meaning what? More and more utility of the water, more supply of water should be there. And moreover, the rapid urbanization, whenever the urbanization is happening, the people will be constructing all the concrete structures. When all the concrete structures are there, then what happens? The percolation will be low, groundwater will be affected. The roads, buildings, cement roads, right? These are all the conditions, and demands pollution again. The growth of population in the Great Northern Plains, enormous population, and so demand for more water. Then governmental policies. See, some of the parties, some of the political parties, they are giving a promise to the farmers, saying that free electricity will be given to the farmers. When the one resource is given at free of cost, it automatically will be having a negative impact on the other resource. Whenever it is a free power, the farmer will be switching on the bore well, and the water is wasted. Excess of extraction of the water. What is the biggest problem with the groundwater is, there is a misbalance between the rate of extraction and the rate of recharge. The rate of extraction is very quick, rate of recharge is very slow. At the same time, say for example, in one entire Great Northern Plain area, one area where the people are extracting more, the other area, the other people are not extracting, but both the people will be suffering. How comes? When though these people are not extracting the groundwater, because of over exploitation of the water in the other areas, the groundwater table as it is connected, once the extraction happens from one side, the other side will be depleting at no cost. Means what? No work done by these people, they need to be suffering. That is what called as penalization, because of no act done. Whereas other people, they are not so responsible, indiscriminately extracting the water. These people are responsible. These people are penalized because of being responsible. They have extracted, they are enjoying. And so, there is no accountability. That is what the biggest problem. And so, these people also started extracting the groundwater. See the condition. See the pitiable condition, right? All these are not the law and order conditions, not the law and order problems. They are the social problems. The social problems are the ones which are very difficult to handle. Tomorrow you are going to become a collector. Law and order issue you can suppress like anything with a brutal hand, but the social problems you should be very careful with. Right? This is the social issue. Right? These are all the reasons. Say the groundwater, this is the groundwater. How the groundwater is extracted from where the borewell, see the borewell is being drilled up to here and is extracted. Right? What are the impacts? What are the impacts? The depletion of the groundwater for the irrigation. For the irrigation, the groundwater will not be there. Then accessibility will not be there. Affordability for the people will not be there. When the groundwater, the rate of the water is high, then definitely cannot find the affordability. Even when the water is there, the cost of production will be increasing. Then the affordability will also not there. Then it impacts even the livestock, nothing but the allied sectors. Also, not only it impacts the allied sector, nothing but the livestock, even the soil degrades. The degradation of the soil happens. These are the important things. Then what is the solution? You need to go for judicious use of the water, going for micro irrigation, developing such type of technologies where the water can be judicially uses, and you can talk about some of the programs. In the conclusion, you can talk about the program, like the important program like Atal Bhujal Yojana, a very, very effective program. Right now that is there in the implementation. If at all you are providing some governmental schemes, governmental policies, then your answer becomes again very authentic, so that the people feel like, yes, this guy is well aware of the policies that are being implemented, because it is you need to implement the policies in the future whenever you become the greater officer. And so whenever you are aware of these programs, then you are perfectly online, in tune with the UPSC. Atal Bhujal Yojana, then Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, micro irrigation. Within the Sinchai Yojana, you can talk about the more crop per drop, right? More crop per drop. That is what called as judicious use of water, right? These are the things where you need to mention in the conclusion. This is the question. Question is for 250 words, 15 marks, 250 word, 15 marks. See the question. What are Aurora australis and Aurora borealis? How are these triggered? Whenever you are there seriously in the exam hall, right? At most you can write 100 to 120, maybe 130 words, but you cannot drag to 250. Space will be there. Space will be there. You need to fill up the space. If there is a gap, your mind won't accept what you can write. You will be writing what is Aurora. You will be writing what is Aurora. Then the next para you will be writing what is Aurora australis. The next para you will be writing Aurora borealis. And also you will be writing how it forms. Right? By the time you write the phenomena also, it will be 150 words hardly. Then another 100 words. What you can write? For such type of questions, you should be having a very great strategy. Like, you need to fill up that particular patch, not with unnecessarily writing. Don't write anything unnecessary. You need to fill up the things with the help of a flow chart. You can draw a diagram. You can give any table, right? You can not, I'm not just giving the answer for this particular one. For such questions where the data is not there with you, where the content is not there with you, then you can go for making a flow chart. You can go for drawing a diagram. You can go for making any table, right? Representing the things in the table and then explaining. If you can do that one, then it appears like, yes, you have managed well, right? Now, what is this Aurora? Nothing but the northern lights. Why this question was there? What is the background? See the background. Recently, Aurora was seen in the Ladakh region. In the Ladakh region of India, Aurora was visible. This is what the context. In this context, the question was asked. What is the one? First of all, introduce Aurora. What is Aurora? This is the natural light displays in the sky, typically in the higher latitudes, right? Typically in the higher latitudes. How it happens? Now see here. This is the important picture. The Earth is having the magnetic field. Earth is having the magnetic field. Had this magnetic field is not there, the solar winds that are coming here would have devastated the Earth and the life would have not possible on the Earth's surface. Because of this magnetic field only, the life is possible on the Earth's surface. Right? Whenever the solar winds are so powerful, these solar winds interacts with the magnetosphere, nothing but the magnetic sphere of the Earth. And this influence can be visible here in the northern pole or the southern pole. If the northern pole, the interaction between the solar winds and the magnetic influence is there, if it is found, it is called as the Aurora borealis. In the southern hemisphere, it is called as australis. Right? This is the one. Whenever the particles that are present in the magnetosphere, especially where you can find these colorful lights, normally can find in the ionosphere, nothing but the thermosphere, and the beyond the thermosphere, exosphere. These particles, the electrons, protons that are there, especially the electrons, are being super excited. Who is making the electrons to get excited super in a great fashion? It is the solar winds. These are the powerful winds that are projecting. Sometimes they are so powerful, they can enter into the lower latitudes also. It's not like it is a condition, it can be found only there and there. Sometimes when the solar winds are so powerful, they can be visible even in the lower latitudes. As such happened in the case of Ladakh region of India, in the lower latitudes where these are projected. And so the question was asked. Now, when the electrons are overexcited, the electrons are taken to such a great height, there they becomes relaxed, cool, they releases the energy. When they releases the energy, the moment once the electrons are releasing the energy, that released energy will be appearing like a colorful lights, which is called as aurora. How it appears? It appears something like this. See the natural, beautiful lightnings, the lightning that is happening, the lights, the colorful lights that are displayed by the nature. Nature is displaying all these things naturally, right? This is what the aurora. Whatever I have given, you need to explain this one. See, this is aurora, australis, and the Earth's magnetosphere. The magnetic field lines are trapped. This is the area where the trapping is there. The acceleration and the collision, meaning what? The electrons are super excited, and then finally the energy is released. When the release energy is in the form of the light, which is called as the aurora. What are the colors? The color, the green color is basically produced by oxygen at the lower altitude. Green color is because of oxygen at the lower altitude. Red color is because of again oxygen at the higher altitude. Blue or purple by the nitrogen. Then the scarlet red is because of the very high altitude of the oxygen interacting with the solar particles. Right? This is the conclusion you need to talk about. If you can talk about the Ladakh conditions and you can conclude, then it becomes a related event that happened in the recent past. Right? Then the last question. See the last question. What is the last question? The last question is with respect to the twister. What is twister? Twister is nothing but the tornado. The other name for the twister is tornadoes. What is a twister? Why are the majority of the twister observed in the areas of the Gulf of Mexico? In the Gulf of Mexico, you can find the very great occurrence of the tornadoes. What is the explanation? First of all, talk about in the introduction, you need to talk about the tornadoes. Then in the body, you need to talk about what are the conditions for the formation of the twisters, and I explained why they are happening more in the Gulf of Mexico, and finally conclusion. Why they are happening in the Gulf of Mexico? In fact, what is the condition for the formation or the occurrence of the twisters? Whenever the warm air and the cold air masses are in contact, there you can find the formation of the frontal condition where the cold front and the warm front are projected deep into the inner layers. There you can find the development of a very great thunderstorm. At the frontal zone, you can find the thunderstorm. In the thunderstorm, whenever the updraft, what do you mean by updraft? The warm air is continuously uplifted. When continuously uplifted is there, in the thunderstorm where the cumulonimbus clouds are there, this very cumulonimbus cloud growing to a height of more than 12 kilometers, all the way right from the surface up to the height of minimum of 12 kilometers. The updraft is very high. What do you mean by updraft? The warm and the moist air is keep on rising and is getting condensed. Whenever it is condensing, the particles are super cooled in the upper reaches, and then they will be having a powerful downdraft. That very powerful downdraft is in the form of tornadoes. When the updraft and the downdraft are equal, then the tornado occurs. Where such events are happening? They are happening all over the world basically, but in the tornado alley region of nothing but the central. What is one of the condition is the land should be plain area. What is there in the central USA? Prairies are there. The central North America, prairies are there. The temperate grasslands. In this plain area, the warm winds are coming, the cold air masses are coming, and so they are getting interacted, forming the frontal condition. There you can find the occurrence of the tornadoes. What is the one important point you need to remember? Out of all the geophysical phenomena related to the climatic condition, tornadoes are very, very dangerous. So dangerous, the winds can be of the range of 500 kilometers per hour. They can uproot all the material. They can take up the cars, they can take up the trees, they uproot the trees. They uproot the building material, the shattered, the unconsolidated material will be uprooted. and they will be taking these materials. Cars, trucks are uprooted. They will be taking up to the height of 10, 11, 12 kilometers, and there they are left. They are thrown out. When they are thrown out, this very material comes with the bullet velocity, hitting the other areas. Devastating conditions are there. And so in this US area, especially in the North American region, the people will be constructing the bunkers. Whenever you are going under the lower layers of the soil only, means what, on the bunkers, then only you will get saved. Right? That is what the twist. See, this is the tornado allow region. The warm air mass, this is the warm front, this is the cold front. Right? This is the area where you can find the occurrence. See, this is the mechanism. Right? And then it at once that downdraft is there. See the downdraft. Heavy rainfall. Hail will be there. What is hailstorm? Nothing but the discharge of the moisture in the form of the ice pellets. All these things happen. Atmospheric instability will be there. The flat terrain is a condition. The wind shear. Right? This is about the conclusion. This is all about the 2024 GS paper 1. Thank you. Whatever the conditions that are there, up to my capacity, I have delivered all these things. All the best. Try to predict the futuristic questions and practice more. Whenever you are practicing more, then only can get more. Right? All the best. Take care of yourselves. Jai Hind.